is the market getting frothy? Is the summer run going to come to a close pretty soon? We're going to talk about a couple of things that may indicate that is the case. But before we get going, check out the channel memberships. If you're in the stalagmite level of that, you made a 500% return just this week. If you're in any of the lower levels, you still got your badges, you got your emojis. And also check out Capital Curiosities. They do financial fraud videos, very interesting stories. This most recent one was super interesting about the former CEO of Nissan and how they escaped Japanese prison in a box. Very interesting, very Mission Impossible style escape going on there. Very, very cool thing there. All right, now let's talk about something very interesting right now. FINRA margin debt. I know I brought it up before. Let's see here. Now, if you look here, you see sometimes it's gotten real high. Like, this time it was 0.53. It's been as high as 0.53, 0.51. That's like super frothy markets. That was like tech bubble, 2008 great financial crisis and the 2001 dot-com bubble. But since like 2015, you notice it only really turns around about 0.4. 0.4 is about, since the GFC, 0.4 is about where it starts to turn around. And you can see on here, let's go ahead and just bring that in. All right. Now, sometimes it'll top out at like around that 0.4, and you can see that happen here in 2014 to 15, but then it started to come down. And once it started to come down, then we saw the market go with it. Same thing here at it went to 0.41 in 2018 and then started to come down, and the market went with it before climbing back up before what happened in March 2020. And then again 2021 we got to about 0.42 before it dropped sharply for 2022. So we got to 0.39 here. No, we got to 0.4 before the tariffs, right before the tariffs, right now we're at 0.39. Okay, so we got about very small amount of move up in terms of margin debt that we can expect, and leverage that we can expect before we see this market start to at least give us some kind of a dip. All right, so pay attention to this thing. This thing's very interesting and it's kind of important. All right, the other thing, the name exposure. This is better than the other one I was looking at because the other one is still on June 25th, whereas this one, here, let me just do 6 months. This one's actually telling me the story up until last week. So I'm going to use this one now, macro micro. Anyways, you can see that the name exposure is at 99. It only goes to 110 before things start flipping over. So we are basically kind of at a point in time now where we should start to see some correction. We should start to see some sideways style market, maybe even a pullback here sometime very soon, just because leverage is high. The name exposure, which is the active manager fund, that's nearing its peak. It's almost at the point of being leveraged. And then if we also go and look at, I saw it, fear and greed. Fear and greed is an extreme greed right now. Let's do this. Boop. 60. Yeah. CNN fear and greed. We're 75 is extreme greed, and we were at that on 4th of July, and now we're kind of coming off of that, but we're very close still to extreme greed. We're at 74, which is generally the area where you start to see profit taking by the big boys. Okay, so pay attention to that. But there is something today. Here in a couple of hours, we're going to get the FOMC minutes. If those are dovish and they talk about the economy in a way where they want to support it, none of what I just said matters. We're going to go up if that's the case. And you can see, I think that some of these Bitcoin miners are expecting that it will be something good coming through on that because they are up. CleanSpark up 2%, Iron up 3%, Bit Digital up another nearly 6%. Even Core Z's up 2% this morning. I say even Core Z because it's been dropping pretty hard for a little while now. BitDeer up 2%. MSTR up 1.58%. Let's take a look. One thing, couple of things I want to mention here is that we are still in a bearish kind of setup right here with those three candles. That is an evening star that could see us drop as far easily to $10, maybe even as low as $9. That could happen. All right, especially if we lose that trend line right there. that I just drew, and we come out of that channel. We come out of that channel, CleanSpark will hit $10. That's just how it is. We do need to get back and above. So here's what we got to do to undo this. We got to get up, back and above 1250. Up and above 1250 and holding for a day or two candles, above it, not touching it, will tell us that we're going to go higher. If we close again beneath 1137 without going back up like we did yesterday, like we closed beneath it on Monday, but we went immediately back up above it yesterday. If we close again beneath 1137 and open a candle down there, well, then we're going to come down to the next level, down to $10, which is where this fair value gap is down here, right? On this orange candle right there, okay? Pay attention to that on CleanSpark, and that will affect the warrants. All right, I want to see Bit Digital. How is Bit Digital going? So Bit Digital has printed a top candle 2 days in a row now, okay? These two candles, these two candles, those are top candles, right? Those are toppy candles. And I've been selling into this strength. I'm out of half of my position now. I only got in about 70% profit from $2 to this, but I saw a top candle. I took some profit near the top of that candle. I saw another top candle. I took some profit near the bottom of this candle yesterday. We're up another 6% today. It looks like it wants to struggle at $4. If it breaks $4 and closes the candle today above $4 and opens tomorrow above it, like if this FOMC meeting is good, this will likely hit $5, maybe even $6. So that's pretty cool, and it could happen. Now, I am speaking about some gloom and doom, but it's largely just because the data is showing that we're at a point where things are frothy. We're at a point where profit taking makes sense, and we're at a point where if this FOMC news comes out on top of the tariff news and it's not what we expect, well, then we will see some of that profit taking coming a little quickly. So that's why. Let's see. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and then I'm going to wrap it up here today. So we're still doing this rising wedge here. Bitcoin's kind of going sideways. We are making a bit of a bull flag right now, but we really got to get above that $111,000, and it's got to happen soon. Otherwise, I would say that this is cooked for now, and we won't see that actual big blow off move until way later in the year. And I'm going to be kind of hibernating on these positions for a little while, waiting for that to happen. Ethereum is trying to get it. So Ethereum is also making a rising wedge. Ethereum is showing greater strength than Bitcoin right now in terms of it's actually getting above the local highs. But I mean, there's all this to the left here that we still need to get above. So I'm not really super excited about Ethereum until it's above 2750, preferably above 2800. Honestly, for Ethereum before it's really showing me that it's got anywhere to go. Soxel made a nice move yesterday. So did the semiconductors. They were looking pretty interesting. Intel made a sick move yesterday. That was pretty good. Intel actually, with the way it's breaking up here, yeah, Intel has a room up to about 26. If it can clear 26, we might even finally fill this gap here up to 29 here. So stay tuned to that. If you're in the members section, I'll let you know anytime I be buying. I'm buying Intel here, which I am looking at potentially buying some leap calls on Intel here, and for that move up to 26, maybe even $30. So I'm paying attention to that. Vertiv's still doing really well. Tesla not doing so hot. Is there anything else I want to talk about right now? Let's see. Platinum. Platinum's been getting a bit of a healthy pullback here. It's been getting a bit of a healthy pullback. So I alerted this one on the channel all the way back here underneath $100. Now it's at $124. That's pretty cool. And it's just been like back and forth. If it breaks this angle here, I do expect it to come back to about 113 before climbing higher. If it loses 113, it could drop as much as 98. So that could be pretty brutal. I don't know. I think it's a bit frothy right now to be jumping in, but it's something to watch. The semiconductors versus SPY. Semiconductors are doing very well. If this can close up here, I'd be interested in a Soxel move, especially if the Fed notes come in pretty good today. I might look at a Soxel move, and that would, I'd be looking for this gap fill up here to about 0.48, which on the dominance compared to the S&P would be a move of about 5%, which on Soxel would be pretty sick. 10-year versus the 3-month. How's that doing? That's disgusting. Let me hide my indicators real quick. 0.14. Oh yeah, this one's still not doing anything scary. We should really look at this at as a weekly chart. As a weekly chart, yeah, no, it's fine. It's still kind of coming down. So I'm not too concerned about that until it gets up at above 0.6. Then I'm going to start getting worried about that one. Copper could be a problem because they announced tariffs of up to 50% on copper. So if this is back when I used to use boxes. When copper, if copper starts to skyrocket in price, we're going to see something interesting going on here. But they announced 50% tariffs on copper, so that could be a problem as well coming through. Is there anything else that's really interesting that I need to look at here right now? Not particularly. M2 still kind of climbing up. We already knew that though, especially if we look at Bitcoin and we look at Bitcoin compared to the global liquidity index. If we look at it compared to the global liquidity index, what the heck happened here? That doesn't seem right. Oh, because it's on a weekly. Haha. All right, there we go. Now it should look nice. Hey. Hold on. Let me get a hold of that thing. There we go. All right. Okay, something like that. All right. Turn up my drawings. Okay. Yeah, something like that. We're looking at Bitcoin potentially soon. Yeah, late July, give us a little pullback into August, and then potentially start driving higher just like it did in this little section right here. That's what we're looking at, and we're looking at potentially, hopefully, a move up to something like 150,000 off of this move at some point in time. Otherwise, if it fails, yeah, we're coming back into the 90s, maybe even as low as 80s. But I don't see that happening right now. It's holding pretty strong. It's not super concerning or anything right now the way that it is forming things. It's just making that rising wedge that I don't like. And it's not breaking out. It's not getting that momentum that I'd like to see. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio. If you want to support the channel, we've got memberships now. The first level is going to get you the badges and emojis. The second level is going to get you that and some shout outs. And Stalagmite will get you real-time trade posts. I'm thinking about, and comment if down in the comments if this is interesting to you, maybe adding to Stalactite some additional trade setups, like things I'm looking at that I don't have time to make videos about. Right now, that's all in Stalagmite, but maybe I could add to Stalactite, like just this is a setup I'm looking at, but if you want like the up to the minute I made this trade, you want to be in Stalagmite still for that. But I haven't added this to Stalactite, right? Stalactite. I haven't added this to that yet. I'm just wanting to get a feel for like, should I add that to that? Anyways, go ahead and hit a comment down there for BTBT if you're still holding that strong. Even though we're getting these toppy candles, I'm still holding about half my position there. And check out Capital Curiosities. If you find yourself watching a video over there after this one, go ahead and comment TC. I would greatly appreciate that. And have a profitable day.